Hello and welcome to On the Kerbs. I'm your host, Team Hours Daily. Joining me this week is Ukrainian racing driver Daria Bakai. We caught up recently, chat about getting air in a race car, how she deals with the pressure of performing at each rally stage, how the war in Ukraine has impacted her career, and much more. So, without any further ado, let's just get straight into it, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. Hi Daria, thanks for being here today. First of all, how are you?
Doing good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. Good to hear you are as well. First question I like to ask everyone who I talk to on here, what first got you interested in motorsport?
Well, honestly, work, job. So basically, I do not have stories like most of rally pilots where they grew up with their grandfathers, in the garages or fathers. I mean, my family didn't own a car, and my dad is still not driving, like he doesn't have a driving license. My mom also didn't, so we didn't have a car in the family. And actually, I was not that young when I was 21. When I went for work, so I worked for international company for Philip Morris, and we had, I mean, Marlboro, and other brands. There were a lot from a long time ago into motorsport, into Formula One, etc. sponsorship. And then in Ukraine, back then, rally was huge actually in Ukraine, and we had Crimea. And then we had once a year, we even once had IRC, so International Rally Championship was in Crimea. So I literally saw Neville in Crimea back then and Algeria, like, all the top pilots. And yeah, we were sponsoring like through work. And I was responsible as a brand manager. I was responsible for event organization, for VIP lists and etc. And I just came, and that was the first time when I actually saw it. And then, there is like rallying, just actually fun. There is like rallying, and then there is like event going on, and then there are a bunch of celebrities coming because it was like fancy. And then so I was like an organization with all those celebrities, etc. And then in the morning, so at 5 a.m., because like the shuttle takes you 5 a.m. to see the stages. So like you could take this VIP shuttle to go to see the stages. And I was the only one who woke up. Like I was the only person. Like I like literally everybody was like the guests. Like they come for the show for the service park, but literally not that much fans. I mean, now after being a rally driver, I also understand that. But at that point, I was like, why do people come here if they didn't want to see the race? So I actually did an event, and I went. It was for me and I Petri. Yeah, there were international cars, but there were also Ukrainians, our big guys, like famous our drivers back then. And it was amazing. I don't know how. It just like clicked.
You
Like,
just kind of love at first sight.
yeah, I kind of believe that in general, like even in relationship, I believe in that in work, like if it either clicks or not. Like I really believe like when you also like when you meet somebody, like you either like it either there is a Kevin, like it clicks or not. And that's how it was. I have no explanation. Like I've never told before, but like I loved it. And that's it. And like then I came home and like my life was just like never the same again. I didn't have that much money back then, and I understood that rallying is expensive. And I mean, you cannot just find sponsors. To find even sponsors, you have to be actually already really good and to invest a lot in yourself. So actually, that's how my, career journey started. Like I literally set myself a goal that like I want to buy, and I mean, I don't know why. I was never into Subarus. I loved like Evolution. I loved like Mitsubishi Evolution. I had a simple Lancer. My first car was a simple Lancer. And in Ukraine, we say that everybody who owns Lancer, deep in heart, we dream that it's going to grow up and become Evolution. So I had it like, yeah, I basically was my dream because I mean, it costed a lot of money, etc. But I started working even more, doing different extra jobs, played poker, or like did many things. Like, and I speak English fluently. I did translations. I did like basically started getting like a lot of money, and then yeah, and then in 2 years I could buy a regular, not sport, but a regular amateur we call it, just regular evolution. It was my first evolution that I bought. And I started doing in Ukraine actually amateur racing is quite popular. So we have like track, where you go on track. You don't have to have a cage, it's just a regular car. Then we have like slalom, we have a little bit of cross, and we have like this parallel racing. And then we also had amateur rallying. So it's basically, which is honestly crazy, which I don't think is right. It's just, I literally, I'm sorry to my Ukrainian Federation, everyone, but like it brought me into rallying, but I think it's not really safe, basically, because we are actually rallying, but without cage on. So like on
And,
regular
and kind of, you're not sure what you're doing yet either. You're trying it out.
yeah,
Like,
you have no idea.
It's
First of all,
good to
you're
get
young.
experience, but
Exactly. But first of all, you're young, you know, you're fearless. You know, ain't nothing about like driving. The cars mostly are super tuned because there is no restrictors, there is no anything. So those cars actually drive. And there are a bunch of like basically, I mean, kids. I was like 25. I mean, I still think it's kids. Like, you know, in my car, like I didn't know where to brake at all, didn't know how to drive it. But yeah, that's what I started to do. And then I was a girl, you know, there was no girls, they were all guys. And yeah, the first time I came, and yeah, you know, of course, I mean, it all starts probably for us from some street racing, you know. So I was like driving the streets very horribly. I'm really sorry about that. But like, so I was fast. I considered myself super fast. Like, so I came on track to these guys, and I'm this cool girl in evolution, you know, getting out of this evolution. This is it. And they're like, well, drive on track. And then this guy sat down with me, and like, I mean, he was true, honest completely, but like, he's like, oh my God, you cannot drive. Like, you cannot brake, you cannot drive. Like, what are you doing? Just like, let me out of the car. And like, and he got out and he was like, just sell it. Like, you're a girl, buy yourself some pink car and like, don't come back here. Like, and you know, man, it hurted. Like it literally hurted back then. I came home, but I am thankful to him. I'm still friends with him. Like literally, every time we meet, I'm like saying, this is the guy who got me really into motorsport. Like because his words actually like, challenged. Yeah, maybe for some girls, you know, it would be desperation for most of girls, but for me, it was a big challenge. I mean, I cried like a couple of days, but then I was like, okay, I'm gonna beat him on track. So my first target was really simple, to beat this particular guy on track.
Sometimes that's all you need, though. It's just the perspective of how you look at it. Like, okay, enough of that now. I've got to go and beat this person and prove them wrong.
Sure. Yeah, and I did. Yeah, I got instructors. I started driving. I started learning a lot, and yeah, I got proven. And then already on the second of 2013, I won basically amateur rally championship. I won all guys. I was the best. I was like trophy. I won the whole trophy, and then I was like second in time attack, and I think first in parallel. So every weekend I would be racing. I would be teaching. I had instructors. I mean, I already had money. I got promotions at work as well. The faster I drove, the faster I was moving through career as well.
Kind of goes hand in hand then quite nicely, and I'm not too surprised really.
Like mutual, yeah.
So you were saying that you kind of fell in love with it when you went to Crimea and you saw that one event. Do you think if it had been a different form of motorsport other than rallying, that would have been the type you chose, or would it always have come to rallying? Because why did you choose that one over like there's so many other different forms of motorsport?
I mean, you know, I tried like because when I took the first Evo amateur, I tried the track, and it's quite fast track. Like I was doing track, and then like we had like this little slaloms, like karting, whatever karting I never liked. And then I tried rallying, asphalt and gravel. And I think my passion is in gravel. So my passion is like literally in gravel rally. Like I was in Belgium. I lived 3 years in Belgium, and I did one race in Belgium in R2 car and asphalt. I mean, I did not like it was not my thing. That's why I came back home to Ukraine. Yeah, like I'm not an asphalt person. Maybe if I did more, maybe I don't know. But then I got into gravel. I loved it. Like I literally loved it. I think it's, and also I think, I mean, I'm my personality is like I don't choose simple things in life, you know, like, and for me, rally honestly is one of the most complicated auto sports. Like, because first of all, you have it's a team motorsport. I still consider it because you have to work with your co-driver a lot. You have to work with your mechanics a lot. There are many factors except of you, and you have to do it. And then second, I still think it's really brain like you really need to have a brain in rallying because you constantly adapt. Like, I mean, in the morning you wake up, you did the rackets, the rain went, it's a completely different situation. You see something, whatever, like you constantly rallying, like even each stage is so different. Like when you go the first stage and we go the last stage, like the path would be already completely different. You
Mm.
constantly have to adapt. And then, for example, I mean, you get crashed, right? You don't have one wheel, you have to go 3 wheels, you have to call, you still have to finish. It's a constant struggle where you actually also you need to use the brain a lot, emotional control. It's a lot about psychology in rally because okay, I know so many fast drivers that like never survived. Like we call those like fast newcomers. Like they come and go. They
And so you
come,
can't
they
just
crash.
drive fast. There's so much more to it than just.
Exactly. They come, they drive fast. They're obviously talented. They drive fast. They crash 3 cars. They run out of money and they're out. Like they never finish.
Mm.
And like in rally, one of the targets is finishing. Like you don't have to be first, my opinion. You don't have to be first all the time. It's about choosing the right strategy. Like sometimes I mean, like or and he's like luck, strategy, success, whatever. I mean that's how that's the smartness approach towards the winning and
Well,
rally,
there's
and that's
the
actually
old
what I
saying
like.
as well of if you want to finish first you have to finish. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you need to use your brain to finish. Definitely.
I think it goes as well with what you were saying earlier. I mean, rallying, you first saw it, you were intrigued, it got you interested, and then you tried everything else as well whilst doing it. But again, it's like you say, you didn't have that spark. It was either yes or no, and this was very much yes, and everything else was just it was fine, but not enough of a yes. So maybe that's why you went for this kind of rallying specifically.
Well, yeah, basically because I tried. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I tried. I was open to trying things, but like somehow, like even last year before the war, I even wanted to try drifting, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because drifting is super, super popular. That's where the money are. I mean, in Ukraine, it's really popular. And I didn't want to give up rally, but I was kind of thinking to, I even took several classes, but the drifting just to see, because of course, I mean, we all make a bit of fun of each other. Like, we rally drivers, like, we're like, is that sport or is that a show? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the same about drag racing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of driving experience there. But I mean, in reality, they do. I mean, of course, it's also a sport, and like drifting is also not the easy sport. Like, I mean, you have to also hear because we drive long time there. You make one mistake, you're out. Like, you drive. So there are pluses and minuses, I think, in every sport. I think I loved rally. Like I tried it, I loved it, and then I mean also I was getting better. Like the thing is, if I would not get better, I would probably drop it. But
Mm.
like I was getting better. Like I was good in amateur. Then I did the switch to professional. I got a very like I made a super bad decision. Like I got a 4-wheel drive, but a very bad car. Like my Subaru was like horrible, non-competitive. I came in, I didn't have a good suspension, I didn't think, and I actually went backwards a lot. So like I should have took cheaper car, but in 2-wheel drive, in a lower class and professional, learned more pace notes, rackets, and not going to the top class with a shitty car versus going with a top car in a bad class. But I
Yeah.
did that mistake. Now I can already recommend everybody anything. But back then I was like kind of learning on my mistakes. So I did that mistake. But then after realizing it's actually in the car, talking to some people, going through many crashes, I actually decided that no, I'm gonna get the money, I'm gonna build my car, it's gonna be a good car, it's gonna be a really good car, and then I'm gonna just train. So I only trained 1 season, I only trained on my Eva, and then I came out, and then immediately I showed like it was a big jump from like 24 to like top 5 jump. But it was all because of like, of course, the car, and then also a lot of training.
So you got to
And
do
then
it
I
properly.
kind of got stuck there and like never actually. I mean, the only other one I would probably try would be drifting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it, but like, I mean, rally, I spent so much money on rallying, so much time. You cannot do two disciplines.
No,
I
no.
was I was gonna try this year, but I don't know even if that would have worked out.
Well, never say never. I think is the
Yeah,
case there. I
exactly.
think once you've got your eye on something, then
Yeah,
you're going to do it. I think.
yeah.
Um, Well, you're saying big jump. I'm going to use that as a segue. Back in Kharkov in 2018, you won the Spectators Appreciation Prize for the longest jump. So, how much did you enjoy that aspect of the racing, and how important were the fans to you?
Well, first of all, I have this like, and it's not good. Like, I love jumping. Like, I don't know. It gives me this feeling like I love jumping, flying. I don't know. Maybe I should have been actually a pilot. I love this thrill. But it's really honestly, I'll be straightforward. It's bad for my back. Like, so
Yeah.
in general, and then it's bad for the car. Like, it's a very stupid jump, honestly. I mean, from WRC, where they fight for every second, like millisecond, it makes sense. For me, for example, when like I don't necessarily fight for the second, it's easier to like, left brake a little bit and then jump, and then your back is fine, your car is fine, etc. Everything is fine because it's risky to jump. Suspension, other parts, like it's risky. But like, so every time I tell myself, I'm actually gonna take it easy. It's always like this is one strategy that doesn't work in my head. But then like I come, and then I'm like, brake or not brake, brake or not brake, like and I just like, okay, it's too late to brake, and I just jump, like, and yeah, and that one was actually the crazy one, like literally that one, like I think we flied long, like it was like all I finished. So it's to jump from a big straight line, and I went out from the turn actually very fast, and like I don't even know what the speed was. That was like one of the biggest ones for
I know
me
just
when I
seeing
was
the picture, it
playing.
looked like a massive one. So
Yeah,
I've got
yeah,
to
yeah,
ask
yeah,
about this.
yeah. And then everybody came to me, and then everybody showed me. I mean, so like in terms of, I love that. I like that.
Hmm.
Of course, I like it. And then everyone's on the picture, and like everybody was impressed. But honestly, I have two. I don't know how to explain it. Two sides of spectaculars. So, of course, like we do it for we do it for ourselves, but we all still do it. Whoever is going to tell you I drive for myself, this is like I really literally don't believe it. We all drive to. We all want it deep inside to be first. We all want to have a results, right? And we all want everybody else to see it and to tell us how good we are. I think in general, it's a person's whatever, like in any sport.
Hmm.
So I do like, of course, when I'm good, and then when spectaculars see me, and then they post videos, and I come take my autographs. I love it. But there is another side. I get super stressed still. Like the moment I coming in to the spectacular zone, the chances I'm gonna be bad much higher versus I'm gonna be good. Because I literally get stressed. Like I still, no matter like I drive many years, but I still like get stressed. Like I can literally, sorry, fuck up, like right there. Like I don't know how to say that, like right there, like without any reason, just
Hmm.
because I'm stressed because of spectacles. And I had it several times. Like I would be like, oh, I'm gonna be so good now. Like my friends came, this is it, I'm gonna be so good, like and I come and I'm thinking about it. And you should never think about anything except God and your. So I'm thinking how good I'm gonna be, and that's it. That's the way to be good. Like the moment you thought how good you're gonna be, you're not gonna be good. Like this
It's
is
the
it.
driving.
Yeah, so basically, I had many bad moments as well, like literally bad moments when like I over tried for spectaculars and I failed. Like I know, like for example, my instructor, like the guys who also went for a longer time, they don't care anymore. Like they don't
Hmm.
notice. I also noticed. For me, also a big issue is that also like they all tell me don't notice, but it's difficult. So when we drive, there are a lot of spectaculars that are standing like in the forest, not in appropriate places. And also more experienced drivers, they don't notice them. They just go. For me, like I
Hmm.
can go and I literally can see somebody, like it seems to me that he's on the road. And I will like push the gas out. I will lose a
Yeah.
couple of seconds. Like, literally, because honestly, there were cases when spectacular fell on the road. There are cases, whatever. Somebody can die, people are stupid, people get drunk, like
Hmm.
things. So I know a lot of guys who don't care, like they just like whatever. I'm driving, but I do like, and then if I see somebody walking on the road, like I literally ask him on the road, I think I did the post and that, like, don't do that. You guys are on the way. Like it bothers,
Yeah.
like me, it bothers. Like I'm sorry, I don't want to run over anybody,
Oh
like
no, that's
So
not part of the racing.
yeah, so I do see spectaculars. Like I do see spectaculars, and it's a good thing, and it's like there is sometimes also the bad side to it. I think more experienced drivers, they don't care already. I still have to get more experience to actually be abstract. Yeah, I noticed like
Hmm. Well, again, you're meant to try and pay attention so
Yeah.
that you don't accidentally run over someone.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
Kind of going off that, then every stage in rallying is pretty much an endurance test, like you were saying earlier, and the smallest of mistakes can lose you lots of places overall in the race. So, how do you cope with that pressure?
I mean, I would say that like to go on a rally, you always have to have a goal. Like for each rally, you have to have a plan A and plan B, and then even plan C. Like you cannot come to the rally just like, okay, I'm gonna win the first place, and not thinking what are gonna happen to you emotionally if you don't win that first place.
Hmm.
Like you have to be. I always try to come prepared. Like okay, I set myself optimistic goal, then pessimistic, and then realistic. And I'm trying to hit the realistic. And that's
Hmm.
why when I'm better than realistic, I'm actually happy and I'm not gonna do a mistake, you know?
Hmm.
And then when I hit the pessimistic, because I mean almost most of mistakes still happen because of stress, I think, from nervous like when
From
somebody
being in
like
the fan zone.
yeah. When person is relaxed and she doesn't care about the results, she just drives like, whatever. I mean, there would be less mistakes. The moment you try to catch up on somebody or you fight in 2 seconds, that's where the mistakes come in. Or for example, if you went too fast and yeah, and then you want to go even more faster, the stress comes into you, and that's how you make mistakes. So I think if you draw yourself three scenarios and you try to hit the realistic ones and not be upset with the pessimistic, like, okay, I'm now pessimistic, so okay, like, and then kind of look at that overall in terms of ABC, and then you can measure yourself versus you're like higher
Hmm.
than pessimistic, which is already good. So you're lower than the best, but you're higher than your pessimistic, so it's good. Don't get upset. Like they could be worse, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my approach.
So
Um,
very logical, very thought out, structured, and just
yeah,
try
like
and
kind of
minimize the.
yeah. I'm really not like my first major is actually computer science, software engineer. I'm really analytical and mathematical. I'm trying to calculate
It makes a lot more
almost
sense
everything.
now.
Yeah, I'm trying to calculate almost everything and like there as well. I mean, try to calculate how much stuff, where you want to be, what stage, and then drove. And then, for example, even if this rally, because we are fighting for the season. So put yourself like a scale, a plan, like, okay, if this one, even if I'll be pessimistic, I will still have chances of optimistic, and I can still get a title. So it's not bad. Like,
Hmm.
kind of like make a strategy overall. And then I think it's easier to get the control versus just come like, and okay, I'm gonna win today. This is it.
So,
Like
like you say,
you
you
should,
won't panic if it doesn't all go
like
to
you should.
plan because you've still got an overall strategy to try and make it work later. Even just because it's not gone well now doesn't mean it won't go well later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then also like, I mean, set a strategy for the race. Do you want to like go fast immediately and then compare yourself to others, in terms of times and let go? Or you want to come and see first two where you are and then catch up? Like, who are your competition? What do you need to
Hmm.
gain? Kind of like get the strategy and try to go with the plan and then have the plan B if that plan doesn't work. So be like, okay, the plan didn't work, not the end of the world. I do have a plan B. And then even if you have the plan C, then you should be all right. Like something like that approach. I try. I mean, I still do mistakes. Like and then after you make one mistake, I mean, I'm quite emotional person. I hate myself for doing that stupid mistake. And I actually also, if you make mistake, important, make mistake, forget about it. Like right here, right now. Like go further. Don't think about that mistake. Because the other ones would come immediately. The moment you're thinking backwards, the other will come immediately. But it's also difficult. Like for example, with my character, also difficult. I try on the race not, but then when I go home, oh my god, I kill myself for those with that things.
Do you think then, like following on from that would be the most challenging thing for you to deal with during the rally, to try and not focus on any mistakes you've made during the race, or would it be something else?
But for me, I think it would be still to know. For me, one of my biggest mistakes, not mistakes, I mean, I most of my mistakes came because of my physical endurance. Like as a girl, and I mean, it is true. It's hard to compete with the guys on a very fast car in a very hot season. Like, I mean, literally, sometimes in Kherson, like it's like 45 Celsius, 50 degrees outside, burning. Like some guys come back and like lose conscience. We had like two co-drivers, like they came back, lost conscience because it's super hot, like, you know. And like I am a girl, I mean, I'm gonna say I am weaker. I try to go to gym, but I don't do it enough. Like I literally think I could be stronger. And my most of my mistakes still come that when it's hot, like on the second, third stage, I lose attention. Like
Hmm.
I get tired. I literally get tired. It's super visible in my own words. Like I start and then 70% of the road I go fast. And then in the end you can see like immediately it's visible, I start re-asking co-driver. So if I'm like, what? That's it. That's it. That's like I'm
That's the
tired.
sign.
Yeah, I'm tired. And that's when mistakes can come. So like my co-driver knows like as well. I mean, he helps me a lot. Like he would be like, hey, that's okay. Like let's get a pace. But I do get tired, and I should have been more in gym. Like, and I've been telling it myself all the time, and I should be really more in gym. And if I would be physically, and I tried, like, I mean, I tried. If I would be more physically fit, I would literally have much more results. Everything
At
else,
least you know where the kind of the weakness is there, and you
yeah,
know
I
what you can do about
definitely
it.
knew. Oh my God, I definitely knew. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Everything else, honestly, I mean, and it can sound quite arrogant. I did have a lot of mistakes, but then on last 2, 3 years, I was going in the right direction. Like, I mean, I had a great instructor, Alexander Stam, who helped me. He's a great driver himself. I had a great team. I had a great mechanics. I always had a good approach towards the car. Like, you know, we always had enough spare parts. We always put everything in the race. I always like show like I mean I understood at some point that like okay you have to if you want to drive fast you have to put your money in and then you have to have a good team like you cannot just do on your own etc. And then we had a lot of trainings as well. I worked a lot on my record. Very important. A lot of drivers don't work on pace notes. Pace notes is so important. And like
Hmm.
last 2 years, I literally spent miles and miles like driving and just doing pace notes, like until like I wanted to throw up from it. Like literally, I hated it. But like my instructor, like he was like, "No, you have to do it. No, you have to do it. No, you have to see the road. You have to see the road." And like, yeah, I did. Like, I literally, oh my god, just spent so much time on it. He's like, "You're not gonna get into a sport car. Like, I know you can drive, etc. But no, first like 3 months was winter. There was no off season, and off season like literally all the time." And yeah, I think that's all the right approaches. You have to have a coach, definitely instructor. I think so. You have to have somebody guiding you. You have to have a good team, good car, top car. If you want to be in top, you have to have a top car, good suspension, like good at everything that's like that matters, and then really good pace notes and a good car driver. And I
I
think I
think
was
it comes
and
back to what you
physical.
were saying earlier about making sure that preparation is key and just make sure you do everything you
Exactly.
can for that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, you just put it in the right words. I'm working. Preparation is the key in rallying. Exactly. And then rallying is already execution. Preparation strategy is everything.
So in 2019, you worked with Sasha Chistova on a project called Girlfriends to encourage young women to get into motorsport. Can you tell me a bit more about this?
Well, basically, in general, the whole idea, like, you know, because I came to motorsport because none of the guys believed in me, honestly, never ever. And for me, it was on challenging. For other girls, unfortunately, it's very discouraging. Like, I know hundreds of stories where, like, even regular instructors, girls were afraid to get driving license because regular instructors yelled at them, etc. And like, it's less in Europe, but in Ukraine, it's still like back from Soviet times, you know, when man is doing stuff, woman is at home, like we still have that
Hmm.
stereotype and it's difficult, yeah, basically. So I started that movement. I actually went, yeah, I worked with Sasha. She was cool. She was really cool and it got quite big awareness. Then I was working also with FIA Women in Motorsport
Hmm.
Commission. So I went to Italy to FIA Games. I actually met even Michelle Mouton there. Was super
Nice.
proud. We met like, hi, I'm Daria, I'm from Ukraine, etc. I had a picture that was like amazing. I talked to them there, and they proposed us to start with like they have the whole strategy for how to get girls into motorsport. And we actually brought so after such a Chistov as well, a lot of girls subscribed. And then for this year games in Italy, we had to bring a girl who was 14 years old to do karting slalom. They
Hmm.
have it basically. They give them one card and then they
Yeah.
compete. It's like and what I'm talking. So I did it through my Instagram as well. I had like a voting, and then whoever subscribed. I found this girl Veronica. She was never in autosport nowhere, and like she was 14 years old, and we taught her like karting and everything. We came, and we actually got pretty good, like because she'd never done it before, and they were like professional karting kids there. Like we done, I think with Ukraine, we got like seventh position there. We won in
It's not bad.
drifting, and then yeah, we won the drifting. Our drifter guy won, got the first place in drifting, and then in this karting slalom, I think we got seven or eight position. It was
You chose
actually pretty
well
good.
then.
Yeah, she was a really good girl. Yeah, she was also like fearless, really good girl. And then yeah, and then basically so I came back, and then in Ukraine we wanted to start. So that's how they advise to start from karting, slalom karting, because it's easy. You take kids, you give them one card, you do it, preferably to do it like while there is some big event like the drifting or track event. So we actually got a working team in Ukraine. It was like last year, and we wanted to start this movement with some other girls. There was
Hmm.
Yana girl and like some others. Yeah, and then like it basically never happened because now the war is, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I left, honestly. I mean, I just left the next night, and I don't know. I mean, probably it's long before the auto sport and motorsport will be back.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah, hope as well.
Then in 2021, you partnered with Alina Dubanik, if I'm pronouncing that correctly,
Hmm.
in Ukrainian Mini Rally Championship in Odessa, and you finished second in your class and third overall. And became the first female team on the podium in the Limonov Cup since 1994. So tell me about that experience and how it felt to achieve that.
I mean, honestly, so Alina is a super talented girl, and she's my good friend as well. And she basically she worked for me for the last work in retail and gas stations. And she also came. She kind of like has a similar experience than me. It's funny, like because she also came for work. Like she was basically in my team responsible for events, and we were also sponsoring rallying. And then she came there, and then I was taking part in it as well. And she just also loved it. Like you should like her eyes, like she like loved it completely. And I saw myself in her as well, you know. And then we had a guy in our team who needed a co-driver, but he drives Ford Fiesta, so the
Mm-hmm.
smaller class. And he needed a co-driver, and they partnered. And he actually taught her. I mean, not him, but like my the guy who was teaching me, Alexander Saluk. He's like many times championship. He was also in our team. He was teaching me, and then he taught Alina as well all the pace notes and etc. And him and Anton, he was kind of teaching them. And she was super, like she is super smart. Like she was catching it like that, like
Mm-hmm.
literally. And then when I was doing notes on training, she would ask to sit in the back by herself, like just listen, listen, listen. And then basically, yeah, it was. She didn't do that many races with him on Fiesta. And then that time, so my co-driver, he had to go. I think it was a wedding with his wife, and like he was like, and then I had this race, and then he was like, okay, this is it. Like it's either divorce or like you're going to get. And I can understand it because he spends a lot of time in rallying, and sometimes you have to do some things. So he had to go somewhere. Like it was a really important event, and it was like not like a couple of weeks in advance, like and all quad drivers were taken. Like it's not easy. Like it's not
No.
easy. Yeah, and then it was like there was Alina, and I was like, okay. But honestly, I mean, I was freaked out, like because she never drove on a fast. I mean, one thing is Ford Fiesta with the starting. I mean, I'm not again not gonna be arrogant, but I'm quite fast already, and it is a quite a fast race. I did take part in it a little bit. So overall, I do know, because it's a cup, it's not a championship. Like, I do know, like like not by heart, of course. I need to have a co-driver,
Mm.
but like I do know, like kind of like this is the fast one, this is the big one. I do know some most scary, dangerous ones. And like she wanted to do it so much. She was like, and like, I truly believe if a person wants something, you need to give it a chance, like, And I was like, okay, let's go, whatever. Like, I mean, even if it's gonna be slower, it's all right, but you'll have experience, I'll have experience. And deep inside, like in my head, I was not gonna go fast. I mean, I was kind of preparing myself that she's gonna make mistakes. I mean, she's gonna be probably freaked out, like it's gonna be fast and etc. And like, oh my God, she was good. Like, she is super talented. Like, yeah, of course, like she was stressed, she was nervous. But she's also a girl. Like, she was nervous. But like, oh my God, I mean, she was good. She was literally good. I don't know how she was doing it. Like, she clearly is talented. She would be amazing for a driver. She was like first stage, maybe we still had the difficulties, because not because of her, because of me, because I didn't trust her. Like, so the first stage, I think there was not a good result. Then the second stage was already better. And then the third stage, I'm like, she's perfect. Why are you not trusting her? Just like start trusting her. So it was not even her, but not me. And then it started like, and like there were no mistakes, there were nothing. And then in the end, it was already perfect. It was really good. And yeah, I understood, I realized she's good. She's giving me the information that I need completely. And it was amazing. It was amazing experience. Of course, we were super happy because I mean, one thing when one girl beats the guys, and the other thing is like two girls beat the guys. I mean, it's a pleasure. Sorry to say that, but it is like literally. It was amazing. Of course, she was super happy, and I was super happy. And I would definitely do more with her. I mean, definitely. She's really talented, and yeah, I mean, I hope she's in Kiev. She stayed in Kiev. She's in Kiev. She's my good friend. I talk to her a lot, and I also hope that I mean we will still drive sometime somewhere.
So it sounds like a perfect team setup there. So it'd be nice to get some more out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we touched on it briefly earlier. You've had to move to the US because of the war in Ukraine. How are you finding it, and how has it impacted your racing career?
I mean, it's impacted pretty much everything. I mean, yeah, like 25th, I left right when the war started, and I mean, I left in a hurry with like a little suitcase, and everything is there. Everything got lost there. The boxes where my cars were, they got a little bit like this neighbor box got bombed, and so like a lot of things were stolen. So yeah, like basically like of course everything there. I moved to US because my family is here. So like my parents and my sister lived for a long time here, more than like 10 years. They're American citizens. And that was like a choice for me. Like I mean I'm some kind
Natural.
sometimes I think maybe like yeah, like because I left and now I left here and I cannot go back because legally I cannot. I applied for this temporary protection status and I cannot leave United States. I mean, there is no day going by when I don't wake up thinking maybe I should go back. Honestly, because I had a great life. Like I loved my life. I mean, I had great plans for this year. I actually wasn't going to compete for a first place. I mean, literally, I think I had all the chances. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, like that happened. I mean, the first month was very bad, honestly. Now I'm back to myself. I stopped posting anything on Instagram and Facebook. Honestly, I never did like in all this time because I kind of like. I
That's
mean,
fair enough.
yeah, like I don't do it. I like every day I'm waking up and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be back because people actually text me like, hey, where are you? My followers went down. But yeah, I did not feel like it. Like just like talking about war, there is so many people talking about war that I don't feel like if I'll be another one talking about war, it's gonna help like spread the war news because there isn't the war. So I kind of don't want to talk about war. Talking about, hey, I'm in the US, I'm here walking around, this is the sunshine, and I also don't feel comfortable because kind of people like they are in the war. So it's kind of I'm in between. I'm stuck in between. I do want to go back to Instagram. I do plan it since every Monday, and I think I'm gonna get there. I
Maybe
am
when
like
this
more
comes
back.
out.
Yeah, I am back more like emotional now already. I don't work, so I mean, think the key issue is I don't work because I don't have a work permit. United States is a very long process, so it's already 5 months, but I still don't have social security work permit, so I cannot work, and that sucks, of course, because I used to be very
You need
active.
to be doing
But the
something, yeah.
moment, yeah, the moment I get work permit, I'm gonna look for a job. I'm pretty sure I speak English. I had a great career in Europe and in Ukraine, and I hope I'm gonna get a job here. And of course, I want to drive. Like I'm dying to drive. Like it's like you feel it. Like sometimes when like race after race after race, you wake up and then like, especially like in the morning or like in the middle of the race when I'm super tired, I would be like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Why I'm not somewhere in Greece, like on the beach? But like when you don't have it, and like when it's taken, you actually realize how much like it's like inside of us. Like I literally want to drive. Like every day I get up and I want to drive. And I know if I could drive, everything else would go on. Like so again, at first I didn't do anything, but then I started googling and like so I'm in Washington in Seattle,
Hmm.
and like I don't know if it's destiny or not, but like I do believe in those things. Like I'm 40 minutes drive from a dirtfish, probably dirtfish.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's 40 minutes. Yeah, it's 40 minutes from me. It's like the biggest school in the United States, pretty much. Like, so I contacted them. They were super nice guys, and I just visited them last week. I talked to Nate, he's the head of the instructors, and to Polly, like really nice people. And then the weird thing comes. So I asked them everything about rally in the United States. Oh, I went and watched rally in the United States. I went to Oregon and I watched one stage of ARA, it's the American Rally Association. I
Yeah.
have a picture with Ken Block, with Pastrana, like, there's a big guys
Hmm.
here. But of course, when I look at the rally here, I mean, when I looked at it, I saw that it's not developed. I mean, it's nothing comparing to Europe. It's a bit similar to Ukraine. Like there is one WRC car of Ken Block. Like we also had WRC car of Valery Gorbin. And then there are like Subarus and Evos for us
Hmm.
the same. And then a bunch of like two-wheel drives and then historic. It's very similar actually to Ukrainian. But Ukraine is like compared to the United States, like it's a super small country. So like there are like 100 competitors. In Ukraine would be like 70, let's say, yeah, in the best race. But for Ukraine and then 100 for American states, it's like nothing, of course.
Hmm.
And but then okay, I mean, I still saw it. I liked it. I was like, okay, the gravel because they also have gravel here in Washington. So I did have an idea that I would go to Dirtfish now, and like I talked to them. I asked them whether I can rent a car, like rent a good, like probably it would be
Hmm.
Subaru here. Subaru more popular here, but okay, a good specs car, like to rent it, to get ready with them on a Dirtfish because it's amazing school. Like, oh my God, it's
So
amazing.
get that preparation going again.
Yeah, to get, but like, yes, that was my strategy. I get prepped, I compete one rally, I show a good result, hopefully, and then I go and touch with sponsors because I'm a girl, and
Hmm.
etc. And the United States, I'm pretty sure it would be easier. Yeah, that was my idea. But then I went last week and I talked to the guys, and the problem here in the United States is like, first of all, Dirtfish completely booked out. So the only 2 hour drive I can get next year, May.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
They are completely booked out, which is good because there is a demand, right?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
not for you because you got to
businessman,
wait till May.
yeah, I know. But for me as a businessman, okay, in general, I mean, I look at this, okay, this is good. Like, but then the next one, I ask, okay, can I rent a car? No, they don't know. There is nobody renting cars. Like, it's non-existent. Like,
Maybe you should
literally.
start a business for that, and then you could be the one renting people the cars.
But also the prices, hey, the prices like basically are over, like it's super expensive here. So for example, we talked even spare parts, and they told me that like because like they told the cars like the regular car that would be on a regular gearbox and like almost stock car with a cage costs like 50K versus the car like on a suspension and everything would cost like 125, and that's EVOs, you
Hmm.
know. That's ridiculous. Like in Baltics, a good top car in Latvia and Estonia, 50K, 50,000 euro, you can
Yeah.
get Evo. And in general, Evo is already, even in Ukraine, my instructor Sasha, he used to say that, like, yeah, this is all historic already. Like in Europe, it is historic. Like we drive even Subarus thinking, oh my God, this is cool cars. But in reality, this is historic. There are R4s, R5s, like, W2s and etc. Like, so to pay 120K in the United States, 100K for like Subaru, I mean, it's a bit ridiculous, honestly. But also I asked like, yeah, like I talked about my car and like I'm trying, like I have an offer now to sell it for like extremely cheap. But okay, for Ukraine, it's a good offer. But then I told him that, yeah, I have two Samsonov gearboxes, I have engine, I have rigger suspension, I have suspension. The guy was like literally, he was like, that is all like, he said that Samsonov box in the United States costs 15,000, which I buy directly from Samsonov for like 7, 8. Because it like, I mean, I don't know if Samsung is like gonna put it in, someone's gonna read it or whatever. Where are the 7K goes? Okay,
Mm,
shit, I don't believe like. So I think everything is so overpriced because the demand also is low because there's only 100 people in the United
true.
States, etc. Yeah, so far, I mean, good news. Like I loved guys, like they're amazing. Dorothy, they were so friendly. Like they spent so much time with me, showed me around. It's amazing rally school. Like literally, it's a huge territory. You literally can work there on your speed and speed and time. If I had something like that in Ukraine, I would already super fast. Like literally, something we don't have anywhere to train in Ukraine. It's amazing, amazing opportunity for everyone. But yeah, the problem is, and he like the same, he even told me that like there is a person comes, pays 5K, gets 3 days of driving, rallying, loves it, has money, and it's like, hey, can I rent a car? And he's like, and I have to tell him, no, like build your
Yeah.
own, get a team, like
Mm.
or
If you want to
for
do it, you've
him
got
to
to do it properly.
apply. Yeah. So basically, for now, I mean, it was the first time I came. I mean, also really nice guys. I also asked, like, I want to be friends with them. I mean, it's still right there. I saw they sold cars and etc. I really liked it. Maybe I could volunteer for some events, etc. And of course, it needs time to get involved. Like maybe I would meet more people, like and then I mean, everything is possible.
You definitely seem determined enough to make it happen, I think, and
Yeah, and I love
the
like
passion
I
is there.
came in. I came in. I talked to Nate. He was a great guy. He like we talked three. Finally, I found someone here because honestly, around awareness, United States is horrible. Like everybody I tell, like in Europe, it's high and it's still high. Everybody I tell I did rally, nobody knows. I mean, they're like, yeah, let's go on a track. We can go on a track tomorrow. I'm like, I don't do track. I do rally. Like, what's that? What's the difference? Like, and then I tell, hey, I went to Georgefish. I saw the fit. Oh, is that track different from your tracks? Well, running on a track, like it's an open road. It's like it's difficult to explain. Awareness is low. Yeah, it's really low. I mean, they have NASCAR left
Yeah,
turns. That's where the
yeah.
money are. Like I guess NASCAR is super popular, and I think Formula Drift was also here. I didn't visit it. I think
Mm.
Drift is also quite popular, but I think the most popular is NASCAR here.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to. I mean, I want to learn it, but I was always making fun of it, like that, like you actually need to make the
Yeah.
right turn as well. But I mean, maybe I should not be that skeptical and go learn about it. I mean, what if like there
I
are
mean, if
people here?
anything, you did say earlier that you'll at least try everything, and if
Exactly.
it's still not for you, then
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough. But maybe you meet someone who would be willing to help you with this, and then
yeah,
it all works out. Who knows?
yeah. I mean, the only problem is that like after you tried rallying for a long time, everything else I do would be more boring.
Yeah.
I
Well, maybe
mean,
it's meant to be
like
rallying,
Formula
then
One would be
and you'll find a
probably
way
like
to make it happen.
yeah.
Then it makes you even more
Exactly. That's
determined.
what like I think. Like I mean, all my life it seemed to be impossible. Everything seemed to be. It was. I mean, if you told me 10 years ago I would be driving in top three, like I would actually like get second, win stages. I actually won stages. If you would tell, I
Hmm.
didn't win competition, but I won stages literally. Like if you would tell me that 10 years ago, I would be like, hey, this is impossible. Never. But like I did that, so maybe yeah. I mean, I just have to I mean, I cannot go it fast. I'll have to take it slowly, get to know it's completely different country, of course, new life. But I'm pretty sure that yeah, everything is possible. Definitely want to continue. I'm definitely not ready to give up.
That definitely doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
Couple of fun, quick questions to finish off, then that have absolutely nothing to do with motorsport whatsoever. First of all, would you rather live in a colony on Mars or learn how to use magic?
What was it? Learn how to use what? My magic, right? It was
Use magic,
magic.
yeah.
Yeah, magic. Definitely magic.
Okay, straight away, bam. Okay, Mars, forget it.
Definitely magic. I would like use magic now and get my cars here with my mechanics.
Final question: would you rather live in a musical or in a cartoon?
Musical.
Okay, okay. I was singing away while you're building the car, maybe.
Well,
Got
I'm into karaoke. Oh my God, I'm into karaoke. I love karaoke. I love singing.
it. Perfect. Well, on that note, it's been fascinating chatting with you today. I want to thank you for your time and thank you for being here today. And best of luck with everything moving forward. I have no doubt that we will see you racing sooner than anyone's probably expecting.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your time. It was a great pleasure to talk. I mean, it's a pleasure for me and excitement just to talk about that. Thanks a lot.
thanks again to Daria for coming onto the Kerbs with me, and I hope we get to see her back in the racing seat soon. Join me again soon when I'll be chatting to another famous face from the world of motorsport. And in the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the other interviews on the On the Kerbs YouTube channel. If you want to hear more from me, you can listen to me chat about F1, amongst other things, over on the Undercut podcast, and you can also hear me dissecting everything Nitro RX related, including chatting with special guests, over in the Nitro RX podcast. Both podcasts are available here on YouTube, as well as over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you like to listen. You can also follow me over on Instagram at t.elbers.daily.onthekerbs and read my various motorsport articles over on Is It Fast and Paddock Sorority. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next week for the next episode.